Cornelia Meyer is an economist specializing in oil and gas, and she joins me now from London. Good to see you, Cornelia Meyer. If it's not going to have a negative impact, what sort of impact will this have?
Well, I think it's being very optimistic to say it doesn't have a negative impact, because obviously when you get 40% of your food through one specific route, and that can't happen anymore, you have to import it through other routes, through air transport, and that will make it a lot more expensive. It's hard to export the aluminium, as you've mentioned. It will just be harder. It will also be, there'll be other impacts. When you look at it, the people have been, the Egyptians and UAE citizens have been asked to leave Qatar and vice versa. Well, Qatar has about 120,000 Egyptians who work in all sorts of they work in construction, they work in hospitals, they do all sorts of jobs. If you suddenly, on such a small population as Qatar, have quite a big part of the workforce leaving, that will have an impact.
Now, the Qataris, as we heard a little bit earlier on, were just saying that they prepared for this sort of thing, knowing that this sort of thing possibly not to the extent, was coming. So what can Qatar do? What sort of financially viable way can they get around this? You know, food coming in, exports leaving without being too expensive.
Like everything in the economy, it's a matter of costs. The flights of Qatar Airways, the cost of flights of Qatar Airways will probably go up because, as you have shown on your graph, you know, the routes are getting longer to get to places because you have to avoid certain airspaces. The food coming in will have to be flown in, shipped in, will probably get more expensive. Now, yes, Qatar can withstand this. Let's not forget, Qatar has the highest per capita income in the world. So yes, they can afford to pay for it. But you know, this is not good for Qatar in terms of the economy, and it's not good for GCC in the long run. GCC is one of the things that makes GCC attractive as a place to do business in, is that it is so integrated, and that you can do something in the morning in Dubai and then do something else in the afternoon in Qatar.
Yeah, because also,
and,
sorry, can I just jump in here? The same people, you know, in the GCC are the guarantors of regional stability. So when we're talking about the GCC, yes, I'm wondering how that'll be affected then, if that affects the predictability and stability of doing business there.
Well, I think it does create a problem about the image, you know, about the standing of the GCC as the guarantor. I'm sure this crisis will be resolved, and you know, as your previous political commentator mentioned, the Kuwaitis have great expertise in resolving it. It will be resolved because it has to be resolved. And Rex Tillerson, the Foreign Secretary of the US, said, "Look, we need to work with all the GCC countries, so it will get resolved, but it will have, you know, that's always, reputations are a hard thing. It takes a long time to build them up, and it takes very little to destroy them. This will not destroy the reputation of the GCC, but it will be that numbing feeling in the back of people's minds. Well, can we really trust? Is it really a good idea to, let's say, base our business there? Let's not forget, quite a few also US companies have based their regional headquarters either in Bahrain or the UAE or in Qatar because of the ease of doing business there.
So the quicker it's resolved on so many levels, the better. Cornelia Meyer, thank you very much. Let's bring in our social media producer, Andrew. He's been